everyone, we are team number 1 and I'm Vandana Reddy, the project manager. Our topic is staffing and scheduling information systems, and these are my team members. This is today's agenda. I will address the problem, Prithvi will explain what are we actually trying to do, and then Yog will establish the expectations, Vijay will talk about business, and then Vikram will explain you about the opportunities, and Sandeep will define the scope. Coming to the next slide, it shows the problem, but whenever we are starting a project, the most important thing is to identify the problem. We need to actually know whether there is a problem or no. And when there is a problem, as the saying goes, there is always a solution. Okay, let us take the example of Oklahoma State University. I will give you a scenario from the university dining services. Say there is a game going on, it's a game day, and the dining services is filled and crowded with people from different universities. But the number of employees are still the same. So the problem of work overload arises, and this gives rise to understaffing. Let us see one more scenario. It's the holiday season, say for example Thanksgiving or Christmas, and most of us go out of town to visit our families. But again, the number of employees are the same, and it gives rise to overstaffing. So we need to overcome these problems. And as mentioned in the slide, balancing system needs with the staff availability and their preferences is the biggest problem. And also, we need to have a centralized database where all these information can be stored. Coming to the next slide, it is pretty much explains the same thing what I have mentioned in the previous slide. And as you can see, the center one is the main centralized database system, and we can see the university dining services on the top. But the OSD has many departments, which includes the Family Resource Center, the IT labs, and the physical plant. And all of them are having a same centralized system, as seen in the center of the diagram. And then it has many advantages. It makes staffing and recruiting really easy, and the second advantage is the technical support is provided only to one particular system, and it reduces the cost and the whatever manual labor is involved. From here, my teammate Prithvi will carry on the presentation.
Oh, thank you, Vandana. I would like to explain you what we're going to do with it. We're trying to develop a project that tries to address the organizational issues as a whole rather than addressing the personal agendas. For that to happen, we're developing a centralized information system that deals with the scheduling and staffing issues. The information systems contains information with respect to the staff and their scheduling activities. It also has personal information that relate to the skill set, employment history, as well as the salary details. The system which we are developing is reliable in terms of data integrity and data security. Also, the system has a very good updation and retrieval mechanism that helps in users having a persistent and professional usage experience. We also, in a way, are trying to get all these databases, all the segregated databases together to develop a unified system, which helps in the users having an enhanced experience with respect to the usage of the system. Also, we are developing a database which holds all the information that we have been generating or been updating. And we are also having a backup database that tries to retrieve data on daily basis so that we do not lose any information in case of there is a system breakdown or a failure. And we are also planning to develop a technical team that will assist the clients in dealing with the information system, as they're technically not up to the mark when dealing with such systems. And we are also trying to initiate the change management from the beginning of the project so that they are ready by the time the database becomes operational, and they're ready to use it to the best of their abilities. And the next part will be continued by my teammate Yogananda.
Thank you, Prithvi. Hello everyone. By now, you know there is a potential problem involved in this, and you have been exposed to the solution which may potentially solve the problem. Let's get into the detail of who all are associated with our project. The first being the sponsors. The organization which funds us and also are very committed in the delivery of the product is the IT department from Oklahoma State University. The clients involved in the project. The clients are every department across the OSU will use the end product, and they are the clients of our project. The stakeholders, there are numerous stakeholders affiliated with us. Even the OSU Foundation, which is part of the, which is not the core of the OSU, but is affiliated with the OSU, is also a stakeholder. Basically, everyone who are impacted by the project are the stakeholders. The owners, finally the owners are Oklahoma State University. So let's get into the expectation. Now imagine yourself floating in a life raft with thousands of holes poked to it. Mismanaging teams and stakeholders' expectation on the project will lead to sinking of the raft, and also it will lead you nowhere. This is a classic example of expectation. So always what is the expectation from the project has to be delivered so that the stakeholders know what to expect from the project. Now, these are our expectations. The expectation is simple. The database has to be efficient and should be very fast in recovery of the data. This is very important. The project has to be completed on time. I stress on this because it is very important for the stakeholders and even the client, which expects on time the delivery of the product. Optimize use of resources. So because this is a very huge project, the resources have to be utilized properly and it has to be on the optimized channel. Finally, what we deliver is very user-friendly interface and everyone can use it. And the next part of the assumption will be taken care by Vijay.
Thank you, Yogi. Well, now, a project of this scale will obviously come with a few assumptions. And a lot of these assumptions have to be made in many cases. For example, we need to assume that each and every person involved in the project actually buys into this project. Let it be a managerial person or a person who is giving us technical support. He needs to buy into this project, completely support it throughout. Next, when we plan our resources, we need to make sure that these resources are evenly distributed throughout the time of the project. What this would mean that no additional resources should be required throughout the course of the project. What's allotted is what's allotted. Budget. When we assign a cost for the project, we need to make sure that that cost does not increase. If it's decreased, it's good. If it's achieved at optimum cost, that's also good. But no cost increase which cannot be manageable. Now there's a change which is being implemented here, and we need to assume that everyone actually understands the change, or at least knows that the change is being implemented. So what I mean by this is, everyone needs to know that an information system is actually being developed, which is going to help them staff and schedule their employees optimally. No additional hardware will be required. Again, this goes back to the same point which we says we need to assign resources properly, allocate them perfectly. Interruptions in the project will always be there. We need to make sure that our project always takes into consideration that there might be interruptions and plan the project schedule based on that. Now, every project will have a business case. There are two simple things involved in a business case: concerns and symptoms. Concerns will be, is this system deployable, or is this system, in the scope? Symptoms will be the problems which we get. There will be a lot of symptoms to these problems, and we identify them at an early stage. So we need to be at a stage where, we need to make decisions quickly. We need to make sure that our managers understand our decisions. They don't need to go back and tell me, show me more, so that I can make this decision. We should be as clear as possible, as early as possible. So that's what I mean. If we want to implement a system A, we need to make sure that the manager understands, or the committee, or the board, whoever is a stakeholder, understand that we are implementing system A and not system B. The rest will be taken care by Vikram.
Thank you, Vijay. I'm going to talk about the opportunity analysis. Identifying the opportunity at the right time is very critical to any organization. Opportunity analysis can be done by posing questions. The first question is, what is the nature of the opportunity? The project here provides us the opportunity of developing a centralized database system which has details of all the staff members, their work preferences, and the available work shifts. With all the information stored in a single database, it is easy to solve the problems of scheduling, and staffing. The next question which we can ask is, when must the client act? Because we are going to implement this project across all the workstations in a university, it is going to take a lot of time. So the project will not be operable until December 2014. The third question is, where will be the opportunity realized? Because we are installing the centralized system for staff in all the departments which request it. So all the departments which involved in this software system will be impacted. The last question is, who are all impacted with this opportunity? The IT team, all the departments, the management, the administrators, the staff, and the technical users who use the software system are impacted by this opportunity. Sandeep will continue with the next.
Thank you, Vikram. Till now, we have seen a lot. We have seen the problem statement, the solution for it, expectations, assumptions of the business, and opportunities. Now, let me define the scope of the project. I'll give a brief of what we included in the scope of the project. As we already discussed that we are going for a centralized database system, so the scope includes a single unified centralized base system. It also includes a balanced system that takes into the considerations of staff, employers, and their preferences. It also includes providing manuals for maintenance and installation of the database system. We also included providing proper security for the information that is stored in the database system. The scope also includes providing or taking the information of all the employees and employers into the database system. And let me give a brief about what we did not include in the scope of the system. The scope doesn't define providing a database system in a day or two. It provides a planned scheme for providing the database system in a timeline. So it's not going to be available in a day or two. And also, we did not include integrating the system with any third-party system. And the licensing issues are also not included in the scope of the project. For this project, we are going to stick with this scope that we defined, and we want to have a growth in our project like as it is shown in the image, and not the one that is shown later. And we are going to adhere to this scope. If you forget it, we are going to regret it. So now we have seen the scope of the project. What next? The decision is made.
The platform has been set.
The money is budgeted.
Now what?
Let's get going.